Welcome back to Rebuilding the Calgary Flames on NHL 26. This is going to be part 2, episode 2. If you haven't got episode 1, make sure you find that on the same playlist on my channel, or you can click the card above my head. This is going to be an episode that we get into the free agency period right away, and we'll be huge players. We have $34 million in cap space. I mean, trading away Jonathan Huberdeau, suddenly this team, the highest paid player is Nazem Kadri at $7 million, so we have a ton of money to spend, and really a lot of these contracts aren't even close to being expensive contracts. Right now on the actual re-signing, it looks like the only one that is a notable player is going to be Ferraro. I mean, we just traded for him. Probably do want to bring him back. We'll take a look at our defenseman really quick and see where we're at. So in terms of our top 6, it's going to be Weegar, Edvinsson, Kevin Ball, Ferraro if we re-sign him, Zayne Parekh, Patchell. I mean, I think that's probably a good signing to bring back if we can get him back. He doesn't want an extension, so we'll see what he wants. But like I said, we have a ton of money. Only wants $3.8 million. I don't think that's a bad deal for an 83 overall as we move forward in the franchise. The salaries on the defensemen can get pretty high pretty quickly. Maybe we can do something like a modified no trade clause, maybe 50%, and bring the salary down a smidge. So we're going to try a 3.5 3-year deal for Ferraro to take him to his 30-year-old season, but I think this could be a bottom pair defenseman for us for a while. 83 overall is a good overall for a bottom pair defenseman, and he could even slot in on the top 4 if we need him to. Plays left side, he's got a X factor, so I really like this deal. 50% no trade clause really isn't a big deal. We can always move him if we need to. Miromanov is the other guy here. He would be more of a 7D option for us probably, and Joel Hanley is here as well. He's already signed for a year at 1.75. I just don't know if we actually need Miromanov, so I'll probably let him walk. We'll look at the rest of our deals and see if there's anybody else on this team that I really think we need to bring back. Blomberg, probably not. 31 years old, not even an 80 overall. Probably just don't want to do that. Kirkland, yeah, I'm not seeing many here that I actually want to bring back. So we're going to let most of these guys walk. I'll bring back the younger players. This guy's only 22 years old. Of course, so we'll do all that. I'm going to set up the contracts here for the younger guys, sign our draft picks from this last season, and then we're going to get into the free agency period with a ton of money to make some moves and try and bring in some good players to help accelerate this rebuild a little bit. Ferraro is going to re-sign, so that's a 3-year deal for Ferraro, going to take him until he's 30 years old. Again, I just think this is a good depth piece on defense for us. There's a couple other guys that I've offered contracts to. It looks like Poirier is probably going to have to be traded. I'm going to qualify him, but he wants a one-way deal, and he's only like 73 overall, so that's not going to work for me. So we're going to have to make some trades probably for some of these guys to clear out some space. I mean, obviously, I'll just qualify both of them as well and see if they sign that. But that's pretty much it for the re-sign period. We don't have a lot of contracts left. One thing I didn't mention before, goalies. Bring back both the goalies we had. Cooley is probably going to have to go to the AHL. He's only a backup. He's only 76 overall. He's just not good enough to be an NHL backup for us. So we're going to try and bring in a backup goalie to back up Wolf and get us some wins whenever he is needing some rest. But like I said, ton of money. We're under 31 million, basically 32 million. That's plenty of money to go into free agency. I doubt we spend it all, but we'll see what kind of players we have when we get there. Here we are in free agency, and Kyle Connor is going to lead off this class at a 93 overall, franchise potential left wing for us, 93 sniper, brings some good scoring. He's got a lot of good X factor, wheels, quick release. He is extremely fast, very good at scoring. I mean, look at the puck skills. It's 5 stars. The senses are 5 stars. The shooting's 5 stars. This is a great player, and with all the money that we have, we're definitely going to take a run at Kyle Connor. Jason Robertson is also here. Now, he might be an RFA. Yeah, he is. So I'm not sure that's somebody that we can bring in. Rasmus Andersson's available. Potentially can bring him back. Alex Tuck is a really good option that I would be interested in as well. At 30 years old, I'm not sure if I want to do that big of a deal for Alex Tuck, and he doesn't have a lot of interest in us, but somebody I'd like to have on our team. He is pretty good. Evander Kane's somebody that we could bring in as well. 87 overall, 34-year-old, only wants a 1-year deal. That might not be what we're looking for with the rebuild right now. McTavish is going to be an RFA as well. Kuzmenko's 30, Truba's 32, Laine's 28. Laine might not be a bad option, but we're bringing in a lot of snipers. We already have Coronado. We have Gabe Perreault coming up. I'm not sure if sniper. If we bring in multiple snipers is what we want to do here. Dylan Holloway would be a fun player, but he's an RFA. Nick Smoltz at 30 years old. Not sure he lines up. Coyle at 34. Jamie Bennett at 36. Probably not either. Kirby Doxson, RFA. There's just some other players here. Marchment, Kesselring. A lot of these guys are going to be RFAs or just a little bit older than we want to bring in. I would be interested in some playmakers as well. I think we're missing some of that on this team. But yeah, definitely going to offer Kyle Connor. I think he would be a great franchise option for us, bring some much needed star power, and keep him in Canada. So here's our offer over to Kyle Connor. It's going to be 7 years, $14.6 million. Definitely a very big contract for him. 7 years at a full no-move clause as well, so he'll be here for a while. 29 years old is a little bit older than I'd like to offer such a big deal for him, but hopefully the salary cap increases and we can say under the salary cap if we have really good contracts moving forward. I just think we need a player like this, somebody to really push our offense over the edge. We are missing that big time. So that's going to be it. We're going to send that over, see what he says. Doesn't seem like there's any other teams interested in him right now, so maybe we can sneak in and grab him. Malkin would be a fun first-line playmaker as well to pair up with him, but I just don't know at 39 years old if that's the best use of our money right now. My next priority is going to be getting a backup goalie for Dustin Wolf. So there's a couple guys here. Spencer Knight at 25 years old. I bet he's an RFA. Yeah, he is. So that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense anyway. But Samsonov at 29, he's at 81 overall. Only wants $2.2 million. I think that's a perfectly fine backup for Dustin Wolf right now. We're going to see if we can't bring him in. Send that over to him. He instantly accepts. So that's our backup goalie for a couple years now. Other than that, I'm going to take a look at our contracts one last time to see what we need and trying to get some two-way guys in here as well. Build up that prospect pool a little bit through our signings. So yeah, now I'm going to sim forward a couple days, see what Kyle Connor says. And unfortunately, Kyle Connor is going to reject our offer and actually go to the Seattle Kraken, another team that really needs scoring help. So that is unfortunate. Somebody I really would have liked to bring in, but that is not in the cards for us. We're going to hop back into free agency now, still have a ton of money to spend, see who's still available. Looks like Jason Robertson's gone as well. So this is going to be a pretty rough free agency period if we can't salvage some of this. I'm not sure these older guys are the route we want to go, just where our team's at with the rebuild. Maybe we bring them in to flip them at the deadline. That might be a way that we go to try and get some value out of this free agency period, having the cap space that we do. But so far, it's been a little bit of a swing and a miss. We'll see if we can salvage this. All right, jumping back into free agency, and I think I have a little bit of a plan. We are going to go ahead and reach out to Malkin and see if we can't bring him in on a 2-year deal. Now, he wants a full no-move clause, and that's not going to happen for me. So we're going to go with a no-trade clause. I will offer him a little bit more money. He is going to be a flip piece. I don't know if it's this year. He accepts immediately. I don't know if it's going to be this year, if it's going to be next year, but that is a contract we're going to get rid of at some point. We also just need to hit the cap floor and have a little bit of space to move people around if we want to. So that's a good deal for us right off the bat. Just makes sense on a couple different levels. After that, looking on the list, I don't see a ton of options. We do need a left winger. I don't know if Evander Kane's the guy we really want. He only wants a 1-year deal. I'd probably want to do like a 2-year deal so we have a little bit of flexibility to move him. But Jamie Benn is here, 36 years old, 85 overall. He's the captain of my Dallas Stars, so I'm a little bit biased here, but I think I'd prefer Jamie Benn at a little bit lower cost and a possible flip piece as well. Now, he does have 2 teams interested in him, so we're just going to send this over. Not sure he'll sign it, or he might go with the other teams that are interested. And I might go ahead and just send an offer over to Kane as well, but do a 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal and go with a no clauses on the trade. So might have to bump this up to maybe like $6 million. It's not a very enticing deal for him. I'm not sure he'll sign that. Other than that, just looking through the players, and I actually did find not a great player, but a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a gem, something I'm interested in. 24 years old, 80 overall. It's going to be Josh Doan. He is here available. He's a UFA. 1 year at 1.25. Not a bad deal. I'd be interested in a 2-year deal, but he just really doesn't want it. He's an RFA after this as well, so that's not a bad contract at all. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't get this done and bring him in. Maybe we can develop Josh Doan a little bit. So that is 2 of the top 3 free agents that we have offered in terms of UFAs. Looking on the list, I'm not seeing anybody else that really jumps out to me. Maybe Jeremy Lauzon as just a low, bottom pairing, maybe a 7th D option for us. Really building up this D, bulking it up a lot, especially if we bring in somebody like Jeremy Lauzon. Going to send over this exact offer, 2 years, 2.6. Money really isn't a big deal right now, and I don't think it's going to be in 2 years either, so I'm not too uncomfortable with that deal. Tolvanen is a sniper. Again, we could definitely use some more scoring on this team. He has an X factor. I'll go ahead and see if he's interested in a 2-year deal as well. Again, a potential flip piece if we get there in the future. But he's only 27 years old. He's definitely not in a terrible position. And then a 24-year-old, 80 overall offensive defenseman, Emile Andre. I'm not really familiar with this game. He's not super good, but he is a UFA at 24 years old. He's top 4D. Might be something there, so I'm interested in him as well. Might bring him in. I'm not sure if, that makes a ton of sense with where we're at. But, offensive D is something that we're missing on this team, so it could be a good option for us, and then we can maybe move out somebody like Joel Hanley on the trade block. 3 years, 1.9 is not a bad deal for somebody like him. He could potentially develop, still has a lot of room to grow at his age. So, going to send that over, and yeah, I'm happy with that so far. I'm going to send forward now a couple days and see if any of these guys that we have contracts out for right now sign on. And then we'll circle back in and see if there's anything else we want to do. Maybe bring in pieces that we can flip at the deadline and try and get some value out of here. We still have $19 million in cap space, even with Malkin signing for $10 million. So we definitely have had a bit of a disappointing offseason so far. We're going to see if we can't turn this around and salvage it a little bit more. The first of the contract responses are in, and Jamie Benn is going to reject us. He's going to go to Winnipeg. A little bit of an interesting move going in division to a kind of a division rival going up to Canada as Jamie Benn. Lazon's going to reject our offer and go to the Blues. Tolvanen is going to go to the Mammoth. So we're swinging and missing all the way across the board now. And hopefully we can still bring some people in. Evander Kane is going to reject our offer, but he didn't go with another team, so he's still going to be available. We might be able to follow up with him and maybe offer him another deal. He said the clause isn't going to reach his needs, so we definitely need to keep our options open with him. Maybe a modified no-trade clause instead of a full no-trade clause is something that he's interested in. And again, I do want 2 years, so that's another point that is going to be a little bit difficult. But maybe we can up the money, and that will be enough to get him. I might just go up till I get over that next bar. Yeah, $6 million. We'll see. I'm not confident in that one either. And Evander Kane still said no, so he's going to be a little hard to get for us. I'm going to go ahead and do it again. I'm just going to keep offering the same contract until somebody else signs him. His value is going down a little bit more, so maybe he's interested as his value goes down and we're offering him more money. That's going to be something that take him over the edge, potentially, but I'm going to offer him the same deal. 2 years, $6 million. See what he says. So after a couple more contracts, Evander Kane eventually did go to the Columbus Blue Jackets, so another strikeout there for us. Taking a look at our contracts, see what our team looks like right now. We definitely are in a weird spot. Even after a free agency period that was a little disappointing, we really didn't get a whole lot better. I mean, Malkin is an improvement, I suppose, but at 39 years old, I'm not sure how much of an improvement he's going to be, and he's likely going to be flipped at some point. Kadri, Coleman, Frost are the center. Now, Frost is getting better, 86. Connor Zary is here as well. And we brought in Geeky. Our centers are really deep. Some of these guys are going to have to play probably on the left side, like Coleman and Zary. Looking at the left wing, yeah, we only have one signed left winger right now. It's Joel Farabee, 84 overall, so he is getting better too. Coronado up to an 85, a little bit of an improvement from him. Doan is somebody I'd like to bring up and get a little bit more experience and get better from out of him. Gabe Perreault, he's making a little bit of a stride as well, up to an 80 overall. I hope he's a big piece this year on our team. But yeah, I mean, these are kind of a weird spot for the forwards. We have a lot of defensemen as well, so we probably need to make some moves, send some of these guys out, and see if we can't find somebody. I mean, I'd probably be interested in moving somebody like, Patchell. I think is probably the prime candidate here, as we brought in somebody like Andre on that bottom pairing as an offensive defenseman. Brings in a little bit something that we're kind of missing here. I mean, we have a couple two-way defenders, some defensive defenders. I think that's a good option for us as well. So just sitting around the trade block, and the Ottawa Senators actually have Drake Batherson available. He's at the end of his contract, and that's why he's available. They're not sure they're going to re-sign him. 28 years old, though. He has a lot of good abilities, elite edges, quick release, tape to tape. I really like all of those. Those are really good abilities to have. He's a two-way forward. We have some two-way forwards on this team, but we could definitely use one of his caliber at 87 overall. And I think this could be a guy that we could bring back on a 4-year deal or so, and ride him out into his early 30s. So we're gonna have a second-round pick is gonna be the main piece of this deal, a fourth-round pick, a prospect defenseman, and then Joel Hanley, just like an 8th D for us that we just don't need. I'm gonna send this over to them and see if they're interested. They're not quite interested in that. We might have to bump this up to like a 3rd next year, and that might be enough. So we'll see if they're interested in that. But this is just somebody that I think we could add. Just want to sweeten a touch. I can do that. I'm going to send over maybe a 7th-round pick here in a few years, and hopefully that is enough, and that'll be it. So we will have to re-sign him. We will see what he wants, but I really do think that's a good improvement. Again, not too old of a player, which we had a little bit of age added to our team in this free agency period. I'll see if he is available to negotiate yet. Doesn't want a contract with us, and he wants $10 million, so we're going to have to wait on him. So I don't think we're going to do that right now. But potentially it comes down a little bit in the future as he plays on the team a little bit more. Maybe we get him some good ice time and he becomes more interested in that. The other guys on this list, Morgan Frost is somebody I'm definitely going to want to bring back at an 86 overall at 27 years old. He is definitely more reasonable at 7.6 million. I think that's a pretty good overall for 3 years. No trade clause for him. I would be interested in maybe a modified instead of a full. Maybe he'd do like maybe a 62 or a 50% modified no trade clause. Gonna see if he's interested in that. And then Blake Coleman wants to stick around. I probably won't extend Coleman right now because I think he probably is a trade piece for us at the deadline. But that's going to be it for right now. I mean, Geeky, he can wait. Patchell is going to be a 7D for us, so maybe bring him back if he's not too expensive and he doesn't want one. 1.6 for an 80 overall. He might get a little bit better. I'll go ahead and sign that with the contract space that we have available. And then Gabe Perreault. I would like to do a long-term deal for him, maybe take him to when he's not an RFA anymore. I really do think he's going to be getting a lot better here in the future. So maybe a $2.5 million deal for him, just to make him a little more interested in it. That'll take him to when he's end of an RFA. Yeah, we'll see if he's interested in that. And a similar structure for Connor Geeky as well. Going to go 3 years, end of his RFA status, so he'll still be an RFA when we get there, have a little bit of leverage over him. At 1.9 million, I think that's a great deal. Hopefully he comes back for that amount. And the rest of these guys, they can wait. So I'm going to send them out a couple days, see if what they say on those contracts, and then we might come back and try and poach a few free agents right at the end of the period. Looks like the Penguins are going to tender an offer for Poirier, a 2-year, $1 million deal. We definitely could match this. I don't see a spot for him on our roster. At 73 overall, at 24 years old, he's somebody I think is an AHL defenseman. I don't think he's ready for the NHL yet. So if they want to do that, I will go ahead and let them. But I am not going to be matching that offer for an NHL level contract for a guy that's only a 73 overall. Morgan Frost is back though, so that's a great deal for us. Gabe Perreault is going to reject it. We'll come back in and we will maybe hopefully get him to sign. And then Geeky is back as well. Great contract for Connor Geeky. Here's the new deal for Gabe Perreault. We're definitely betting on him progressing really well. I mean, 2.8 is not that bad, but only an 80 overall right now. 4 years, he's going to be an RFA at the end of this. That's a really big for me. See if he's interested in a little bit of a raise up to about almost $3 million. So we'll send forward a couple days, see what he says. And that's enough to extend Gabe Perreault. So we made some good deals so far. Looking at the free agency period one more time, and we have $16 million in cap space, so we can pretty much afford whoever we want. Not a whole lot of options here, though. Looks like we have Eller, Saad, Dodonov. None of these guys are very good, and they're all pretty old. Costin's only 27, but he's a 79 overall. I mean, I just don't think there's anybody here for us. So we're going to go through the rest of this free agency period. We will end it now, and we're going to go to the beginning of the regular season, and we'll have like $16 million in cap space going into next year. So we definitely will be big players in free agency again next year. But we did a lot of swinging and missing this year, which... you know, sometimes that happens with a rebuilding team. They just weren't interested in coming to Calgary. So here are the lines for season number 2. It's a little bit different, a little bit better, I would say. It's going to be Coleman, Malkin, and Coronado on the first line. So the idea here is let Coronado play with Evgeny Malkin, and hopefully, you know, the 93 passing, the 5-star puck skills lets Coronado have a great year and get a little bit of progression. I would like to upgrade that left wing position, get somebody a little bit better than Coleman on that left side if possible. And Morgan Frost might be the answer. He's just also a playmaker. We really only have like 2 playmakers on this entire forward group, so I'm trying to spread that out a little bit. He's going to play with Kadri and Batherson. Really not a bad second line. I'm not sure about scoring here, but they have a +5 on chemistry. I mean, they have a lot of good X factors. Batherson is a guy that I think, you know, potentially can score. He's got 4.5 stars on the shooting category and 5-star puck skills, so he definitely has the potential to score a good amount of points on this team, especially playing with somebody like Frost and Kadri. Third line of Farabee, Zary, and Gabe Perreault. Perreault is going to have to try and get some depth scoring for us. He's a sniper on the third line with a couple of two-way forwards, so, I mean, not the best players setting him up. They do have 87 passing, so neither one of them are terrible. He's going to have to try and get a little bit of scoring on his own. And in the fourth line, Doan, Geeky, and Honzik. He's going to make his NHL debut this year. A little bit of progression out of him. This is a pretty big, I would say strong fourth line for us. All 3 of them are 81 overalls. And then looking at defense, definitely the strength of our team. Edvinsson is up to an 87 with Parekh at an 84. A good first line. Uyghur and Ball on the second line, a good second line, and then Ferraro and Andre on the third line, a good third line. So this is a good defense. I'm not sure if that's going to translate to a good team. We definitely are missing some pieces, and we're kind of a weird misfit right now. A lot of two-way forwards, not a lot of scoring throughout the lineup. So we'll see what we can get done there. And then obviously the goalies, Dustin Wolf, 87, and then Samsonov in 81. That's going to be our team this year. We're going to let it roll out to the trade deadline. We definitely have some moves to make once we get there. We'll see if we can't get a little bit better. We might have to take another step back at the deadline, try and make this team a little bit better in the future. Here we are at the day before the trade deadline, and we are 1 point from the third in the division. Actually, 1 point from second in the division. The Kraken and the Oilers have 79. We have 78. We are in the first wildcard spot in our conference. So, I mean, we are probably going to make the playoffs. We could have a collapse for sure. The Kings are at 70 points. They are the second wildcard spot, so they're not way far behind us. But we're in a pretty good spot right now to make the playoffs at 35, 20, and 8. First thing I want to do here is I want to take a look one more time at Drake Batherson's contract. If he's not in a reasonable range, then I potentially could be moving Drake Batherson. And now he wants $12 million for 5 years. At an 87 overall, that's just not going to cut it. When we saw a 93 overall go for like $14 million, and he doesn't want to be here anyway. So I think the big fish this year, probably on the entire market, going to be Drake Batherson. Now, we got him from a second and a third and a prospect. So, I mean, I think we could probably get more than that in this next trade, but that's going to be a marker for us. And then Blake Coleman as well on the end of his contract. He does want to come back. I just don't think it's right for us to bring back Blake Coleman. He's 35 years old. He wants a contract until he's 37. This team is needing to get younger, not older, especially, you know, with the projection we're on right now. And those are the two guys that I really think are going to be on the move. I'd like to bring back both Honzek and Doan. These are good, you know, players for us. Honzek wants 2.4. I might wait on him, although he is getting better. He's already up to an 82 overall, so potentially could bring him back pretty soon. Maybe not right now. And then Doan at 25 years old wants 1.9 for the next 2 years. I'm okay with that. I think we'll go ahead and bring Josh Doan back. And that's going to be it. So we're going to hop around into trading before the deadline, see if we can't offload those two contracts, and see what we can get back for them. Those are going to be pretty big trades for us. So looking at the draft class this year, it's actually pretty apparent to me that picks are probably the way to go when trading out some of these guys like Batherson and Coleman. We have a lot of good players here at the top of the draft. So obviously DuPont's a franchise and media potential defenseman. I don't think we'll be in the first overall pick range. And if we did, I don't know if we want... I mean, obviously we'd want a franchise defenseman. I just don't know if it's the best fit for our team. So I'm actually probably shooting for somewhere in the 2 to 5 range. And a lot of these forwards, the playmakers are what I am really targeting here. So Huttunen at second overall is a playmaker, and he looks very good. I mean, a lot of 8s across the board. Good size, too, at 6 foot. He's NHL ready. He's got an X factor. It's wheels, which is a great one to have. So that's a really good player at 2. Malkin, Svedberg are both two-way forwards. Of course, I would definitely take them. They're both very good. I'll show you guys the stats. Malkin has 2 A+ at shooting and puck skills, and Svedberg is also very good. And then Carlson is a playmaker. He's a little undersized at 5'8", but again, really good across the board. He's NHL ready. And then Jacobson, a little bit more of a project. His ratings aren't quite there yet, and he's definitely undersized at 5'9", but he is also medium potential and only a year away at 18 years old, so I think he's also very good there too. So that is like 5 forwards in the beginning of this draft that I really want to get up to get. So it's probably going to be, you know, packaging players up to get picks to move those picks up with our, you know, current pick, which is probably going to be somewhere in the teens, I would say, and try and get ourselves in position to draft one of these guys at the top of the draft. So I'm trying to send Batherson over to the New York Islanders for their first round pick. It's a pretty good pick. They're 28, 24, and 10 right now, so they're not at the bottom of the league, but I really do think they're going to be in the lottery. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and that should be a good pick to package with our current pick to move up if they don't have a fall off, which they definitely could towards the end of this year. So I'm going to try and do this 1-for-1. I'm not sure if this is going to go through. The value looks pretty even, though. Not quite, just a bit low though, so we probably could just add in maybe a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick. Maybe we have a 7th a few years from now. We've used up a lot of our 7s. 2030, see if that's enough to get it done, and it is. So Batherson over to the Islanders. They're going to have to re-sign him. I'm not sure how their money situation is, but we are going to be getting a 1st round pick out of that, and that gives us 2 1st round picks now this year, and that's 2 first, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 6th. I'd like to get a 2nd back for Coleman. I'm not sure if that's in the cards, but I think these are 2 packages that we could put together to move up in the draft. And looking at Blake Coleman's value, we might actually be able to get a first-round pick out of this. Now, this is probably going to be at the end of the first. The Avalanche are very good this year. But, I mean, a first-round pick for Blake Coleman, I think, is really good value. He's 35 years old, and we're not going to re-sign him. I just don't see a path for that. And I think this is really good value if we can get it done. It's very close. It might not go through, but just a touch. Another seventh-round pick. Let's see, we got one in... how does 2031 sound like to you guys? And that'll do it. Blake Coleman in a 7th gets a first-round pick from the Colorado Avalanche this year. I mean, we're gutting our team a little bit, but I mean, why not? That's 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. It's really nice to have this kind of ammunition when we're rebuilding, and we're going to have to go through the draft. You know, we saw what happened in free agency this year. We were swinging and missing all over the place. This might just be the best path forward for us. I would like to still try and get a second-round pick in here if possible, just to fill this out a little bit more. But we are kind of short on players. We'll see what I can get done. Looking at our contracts, I don't see really anybody that has to be moved this year. Obviously, Malkin might go down a little bit in overall, and that would make his value go down a little bit. But I think I'm going to hold on to him for next year. Other than that, really the rest of these guys are on decent contracts. They're on a couple more years at least on most of them. The ones that are on 1 years, we are going to re-sign or have already re-signed, like Perot, like Doan, like Geeky. So I think we're in a good spot just to move on past this trade deadline, get to the end of the year, see if we make the playoffs. We potentially could. We are in a playoff spot right now. But I think after gutting our team a little bit with those 2 forwards gone, I think we're probably going to have a bit of a fall off towards the end of the year. But we'll see. After that, we're going to get ready for the draft and see if we can't land ourselves some elite players. And at the end of the year, we actually did sneak into the playoffs. 99 points, 44, 27, and 11. That was good enough for 4th in our division. I mean, right below the Oilers and the Knights, both had 100 points. So we were, 1 point away from being second, depending on the tiebreakers, but 1 win away from being second in the division, and really not that far off the lead. A really good year for us. Kind of strange to have this good of a year where we are in the rebuild, but sometimes that happens. You know, we overperformed. We definitely are going to sneak in. I'm not sure we'll do a lot of damage. We're going to have to play the Kraken in the first round, and they were the best team in our division. Take a look at the entire league and see where everybody stacks up. So the Avalanche, who's the first round pick we have this year, were number 1. Kraken were number 2. Maple Leafs, Knights, and Senators round out the top 5. Knights, Senators, and Oilers all had 100 points. We are 7th in the league, so that's not too bad. The Blue Jackets at 95, and you can see down, it seems like pretty much everybody who was supposed to make it made it, maybe barring the Vancouver Canucks, who were at 15 and didn't get in. And Nazem Kadri had another fantastic year for us, put up 103 points, 53 goals, 50 assists. At 36 years old, I mean, this is ridiculous production out of somebody of his overall and his age. Malkin put up 87 in his first year. That's over a point per game. Frost had 60, a really great year out of Morgan Frost. Hopefully his progression continues. Farabee put up 42, really not bad either. Coronado, who's hurt most of the year, put up 39 points in 50 games. So not quite a point per game, but he had 14 goals, 25 assists. Zary put up 38. Uyghur put up 38 to lead the defense. Perot had 34 with only 10 goals. I'd like to see a little more goal production out of him. Pro put up 34 in 64 games. He was hurt a little bit as well. Only had 10 goals. I definitely would like to see a little more goal output from him, but this is a pretty strong attack from the top guys especially. I'm not sure what Batherson had before we traded him out, but I can imagine he'd probably be up at the top here. Either way, really good production out of the old guys, and that's probably what got us into the playoffs. Going to take a look at our goalies now and see how they performed. Dustin Wolf put up a 905 and a 304. Not a great year, but it was pretty fine. And then Samsonov put an 884 and a 356. Not a good year out of the backup goalie. 7 wins, 6 losses, 4 OT losses. So, I mean, definitely not a very good year. And look at the entire league. Nikita Kucherov is going to be the leading point scorer. 125 points, 65 goals, 60 assists. A really great year out of Kucherov at 33. Matthews put up 119, 60 goals, 59 assists. McKinnon, 111, 72 goals. Wow, 39 assists. A lot of goals from McKinnon. Draisaitl put up 110, 45 goals, 65 assists. And Braden Point rises to the top 5, 109 with 28 goals and 81 assists. Obviously, McKinnon's going to lead the league in goals at 72, Kucherov at 65, Matthews at 60, and then Kadri was number 4. That's 53 goals for him, and then Bedard right below him at 48. So, I mean, just unreal production out of Nazem Kadri. You know, this could potentially be the offseason he gets traded. Maybe it's next year, but this is just, you know, a player that is going to get on the move at some point, you know, barring a no-move clause and things like that. But we'll have to work around those. Mackenzie Blackwood is the winningest goalie of the year. Put up a 917 and a 267, so a pretty good year out of him. Aiden Hill put up a 920 and a 262, a great year from him. Dustin Wolf was 3rd in wins, so 37 wins, 905 and a 304. Not great stats, but a lot of good wins there. Bobrovsky put up 37 as well, a 914 and a 277. And then right at the top 5 was Stuart Skinner, put up 37 wins, a 904 and a 211. Linus Ullmark put up 6 shutouts and only 52 games played, so he had a really good year in terms of shutouts. Bobrovsky put up 5, Andersson put up 5, a lot of guys here, Talbot, Swayman, Blackwood, Demko, all put up 5. And I didn't expect Honzek to be at the top of the race, but he's about 6th down here. Put up 29 points in 82 games. It looks like Snuggerud is going to take home the Calder with 46 points in 82 games. So that's it on the statistics. Let's go ahead and sim through the playoffs now. I really don't expect us to make a lot of noise, and this is going to be the best team in our division that we're playing against. So we'll sim out the first 3 games, see how it goes, and I really don't expect to be too competitive here. Game 1 is a 3-2 loss. Game 2 is a 4-1 win, so we tied it up going into game number 3. And a 5-4 loss is going to put us down in the series, but we're pretty competitive. We're going to go ahead and sim out the next game and see if we can bring this one back to even. A 4-3 loss is going to put us on the brink of elimination as we go into game number 5. And they will knock us out in 5 games. You know, not a bad battle here. A 5-4 loss, a 4-3 loss, a 3-2 loss. These were competitive games, it looks like. The last one was a 6-3 loss, a little bit less competitive, but we were on the brink there. I think this is a pretty good fight out of a team that I'm not sure I expected to be here at this point. And this year's Stanley Cup champions are the Tampa Bay Lightning. Go ahead and take a look at the playoff tree so you guys can see the full matchups. It looks like the Colorado Avalanche, who we have first round pick of, got to the final, so that'll probably be, it's definitely going to be the second to last pick in the first round. It's basically a second round pick, but I mean, could still have some value as we get to the trade market, or maybe there's a player on there that I really like. I think they're the Islanders' first round pick as well, and they got to the conference final, so we're going to have a lot of later round picks. I mean, even ours is a playoff pick, so probably no lottery. It might take all 3 of these picks move up to get a player that we want. We're going to go ahead now and look at the leaders in the playoff stats for us and for the rest of the league. Now, we only played 5 games, but we have a little bit of point production to look at here. Malkin put up 6, Farabee put up 5, a great performance out of Joel Farabee on the 3rd line. Mackenzie Weegar put up a point per game from the defense. Morgan Frost was 4 and 5. Perreault put up 4. No goals, though. I mean, he's a sniper. He's just not scoring a ton of goals. But, I mean, 4 points is still pretty good. Dome put up 3. Honzek put up 3. Coronado put up 2. Frost was our leader in goals, put up 3. And Dustin Wolf had a pretty rough playoff series, in 854 and a 469. A very rough playoff series, but he did play against a really good team, and we probably just weren't up to the task. Samsonov put up a 938 and a 196. He was great in his 2 games played. Very interesting splits there. Gonna look at the entire league now, see who leads in terms of points. It's going to be Kyle Connor, so he chose the right team, going to the Kraken, put up 27 points in 18 games played. McKinnon put up 26 and 22 in a Stanley Cup loss effort. Gensel put up 25 and 24, likely your Conn Smythe winner. Kucherov put up 25 and 24 as well, so potentially Kucherov could win it. Hedman put up 25. I mean, all 3 of these guys could win it. They all had 25 points in 24 games. McKinnon did leave the playoffs in goals, 16 goals. Coleman put up 14. What a performance out of Blake Coleman on the Avalanche. Kyle Connor put up 13, Getzel put up 11, and Kucherov put up 10 to round the top 5. Mackenzie Blackwood put up 15 wins, although he did lose the Stanley Cup final, a 913 and a 262. Vasilevsky put up 12 wins, a 918 and a 278, but he was your Stanley Cup winning goalie. It looks like he was injured, though, so I wonder if he was out for the finals. Varlamov put up 11 wins, a 904 and a 211. Matt Murray in Seattle put up an 893 and a 329. Only an 80 overall goalie, but, I mean, not a bad performance out of him in terms of wins. Not great stats, though. Bobrovsky put up a 909 and a 283. Jonas Johansson put up a 921 and a 246. He played 7 games for the Lightning. I imagine this is who actually won the Stanley Cup for them, and it looks like he had a really good run in the 7 games he played. Really, really good stats there. Blackwood was the only person with over 1 shutout. He put up 2 in the playoffs. So that's going to be it for the playoff stats. Let's get into the draft and see where all of our picks land. Here are the draft lottery results. As expected, we don't have any picks in the lottery. Montreal jumped from 12 to 2, so really good luck for them. We'll go ahead and sim and see where exactly our picks lay. We have a very interesting spread here in the pick selections. 23, 29, and 31 in the first round. 87, 119, and 183 in 3, 4, and 6. So this is going to be a weird draft. I definitely think I want to move up. Again, let's take a look at the draft class and see if we can hone in on one specific player. Huttunen is my number 1 player on the board, but at number 2, I just don't know if we can get all the way up for him. I do still really like Carlson. I really like Malkin as well as a 2A4. I think Carlson would be my preferred player, but I mean, he's at number 4 now. He's jumped up a spot. I mean, look at the skills, though. Very good. He's undersized, so I might try and go for number 2 first, see if we can get it done. If not, maybe we can get something at like 4. If all else fails, we could move down and go down to like 7 and get Jackson Jacobson. He's just a 5'10 playmaker. I think he grew a little bit. I think he was like 5'9", maybe even 5'8 before. So that's interesting. But yeah, I think we have a lot of opportunity here to move up and get a good player. It's just where do we go with these picks? I think we're better off just waiting until maybe the 4th overall pick and see if that can get a little bit easier for us to trade for, and then come in and snatch up the little bit undersized player that we want in Carlson. 5'9", but again, the skill is there. I think that must be our best option right now. So the Bruins are really not interested in any of our deals. They do want our 3 first-round picks, but they're just not good enough to get anything done here. That is really tough. I do really want to jump up and get one of these guys, but it's not looking like we're going to be able to, at least in the top 5. So maybe somebody like Jacobson, the elite playmaker, he's a year away. We might have to bet on him being good in the future. So I was just playing around with the Red Wings at number 5. I offered them all 3 first-round picks, Kadri and Malkin, to see if that would even get it done, because it just wasn't happening, and it went through. Now, I'm not too unhappy with that. Malkin, I think, is somebody that I would have traded anyway. 3 first-round picks, and Kadri is a lot to play for number 5. But the player we get is another Malkin. We get to replace him. I think this is still a very good player. He's a two-way forward. His size is a little bit better than the other guy. I think the guy was 5'10". He's 5'11", so not a ton better. But I mean, the shooting, the puck skills, the skating, I mean, everything's there for this guy to be really great. We had him at number 3, although that's not completely accurate. I think this guy could be very good. Is it worth the deal that we gave up? Probably not. But we were just in a position where we had to make something happen, because the players down the board around our range in the low 20s just probably weren't going to make it work for us. We need a difference maker on this forward group, and we have a ton of cap space too, so we can replace Kadri and we can replace Malkin pretty easily. Those are guys, they're getting super old. So all in all, for the 5th overall pick, if you take everything into account, it was Batherson, who was expiring, Coleman, who was expiring, Kadri, who had a couple years left, and Malkin, who was expiring. I don't think that's too bad of a deal. Those are a lot of old players to bring in a guy that potentially could be the face of our franchise. An 80 overall left wing, I think that's really good for us. He'll fit in really nice on the first line of the future. Did we give up too much? Probably, but I was just desperate to make something happen and honestly didn't know what was going to go through. That's going to be our first round of the draft. We have 87 next. I'm going to see if there's anybody even worth taking here at 87. And here at 87, things are looking pretty bleak. A couple of busts, some bottom 6 potential, but other than that, you know, really not a lot going on here. So it's probably best if we just trade out of this pick and don't waste our draft picks, try and do something next year instead. Although I think I did see somebody down here who was almost top 60. I mean, that's just not worth it. So we're going to see if I can get a trade going here to maybe trade out of most of the rest of our draft, really, and see what we can get for next year. Our 3 and 4 will get us a 2nd round pick next year from the Minnesota Wild in way of the Carolina Hurricanes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And that leaves us with a 6th round pick this year. I don't think we can trade that for anything. So I'm just going to let the computer take that. And that will be our draft. Really, the big thing here is one pick, one player that we are really betting a lot on to be probably the franchise cornerstone as we move forward. This is a bit of a weird one for sure. I think there definitely could be some people that think this was a bad move for us, and it definitely could have been. But we need a playmaker. We need somebody on that 4 group who can really drive play. You know, you could argue that that was Batherson, but we just couldn't afford to re-sign him. I mean, we could, but I think it would have hindered us in the future. You know, we have some big people coming up. Parekh needs a contract, people like that. So we definitely, had to make a decision there. And then I just don't think Coleman, Kadri, or Malkin were the answer long-term for us. So I really don't have a problem moving those guys out. But that's going to be it for this episode. It definitely was a weird one. We might have taken a step back, but hopefully it's for a better future. We'll get into the re-signing period next episode as we start out there. But as always, if you like the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can catch the rest of this series on my channel. As always, I appreciate all the support, and I will catch you guys next time.